Let's talk bagels. Hey, good morning. Good morning to you and happy Thursday. I have a story to tell you. It's a tale of two bagels. And I had a bagel. It's not something I do every day, but it's one thing that I took with me from New York when I lived there for about 6 years. There's nothing quite like the taste of a New York bagel, just fresh. You go into the bagel, it's usually like a little deli, or you go to like a specific bagel shop and you smell that fresh smell of a bagel. Oh, it's so good. If you like bagels and you jump on here, let me know how you like your bagels. Do you like it everything? I want to know if you like a poppy seed bagel, or if you just like it plain. Do you like it toasted? Do you put cream cheese on it? Do you like an egg sandwich? Do you make a lunch? Do you do like a turkey bagel sandwich? I want to share with you just as it is. Just kind of thinking back to the throwback years when I used to throw down two bagels. This is a tale of two bagels. Now, for this, I just want to share with you, we have these two in our house right now. This one is something we came into finding. It's a bagel baguette, and then here is an everything bagel. And you're saying to yourself, Mark, aren't you the coach? Like, should you not eat carbs? Well, I'm just letting you know right now. I'm not giving up my carbs, and you shouldn't either. You just have to be careful with how much of the carbs and making sure that you're using the energy that you get from the carbs. In fact, I actually was just doing a little research on this, and they both have protein. What I like about both of these bagels, for instance, I'll even share with you as I get into the tale. So this is a Dave's bagel. They make all different kinds. They make English muffins, and you're thinking to yourself, I think there's 260 on the calories. I believe that says 260. 260 on the calories. As far as the fat, I believe, where's the total fat? I think, let me see here. Let me try to make it clear for you. 5 grams of fat. There is 350 milligrams of sodium, some fiber, 5 dietary fiber. That's in the whole grain. Look at that. 13 grams of protein, which is pretty decent, right? Look at the carbs, though. 44 grams of carbs. Well, again, I'm not too worried about that. And I know that's something that a lot of people like to stress about is the carbohydrates. And yeah, I would stress if you're not active, if you sit around all day and don't move and you don't work out and you're not using the energy from the carbohydrates from a bagel. And I'll share you this other one before we get into my little story. This one is the other bagel. This is kind of like a baguette bagel that has about the same amount of calories, just under 10 less, 4 grams of fat. There's a bit more sodium, a bit more sodium in there. The same amount of carbohydrates, 45 versus 44. Fiber's a little less on there because this is more of not a whole grain bagel. There's some seasoning and everything and stuff. So let's go talk about this here. I have a tale of two bagels, and it goes into lines with how you eat now versus how you used to eat. Now, when I was in New York, now I eat a bagel every once in a while. And right now I have a little peanut butter. I actually have a little extra protein. Yes, there's going to be more calories in there. I even put a little bit of honey on it. For me, it helps with my allergies, so I have some local honey. I drizzle a little bit that on it. But what I used to do, so check this out. And listen, come on, just say hello. I want to know how you like your bagel. So the topic is the tale of two bagels. I'm going to share with you my story of two bagels. I shared with you two different types of bagels, a baguette bagel and then the epic everything bagel. Those are two types. If you like bagels, if you don't like bagels, this probably message isn't for you. But if you like the taste of a fresh bagel or a toasted bagel, I want to know how you eat your bagel. Do you eat it? Do you eat it with cream cheese? Do you have a smear of cream cheese? Do you have a little butter? Do you put jelly on it? Do you put peanut butter on it? Do you have it with eggs? Do you have a half a bagel? I want to know what kind of bagel. Do you like raisin, cinnamon, raisin? Do they even make those bagels anymore? Do you like a pumpernickel bagel? I don't even know who eats pumpernickel bagel. Do you like a sesame seed plain bagel? There's all kinds. Do you eat those kind of fancy schmancy bagels that really aren't like, sorry, Panera, but they make like the ones that are more like bread? That's not a real bagel. That's like bread in the shape. That's like a muffin in the shape of a bagel. Can I get an amen there? But my story is in talking about bagels and why they get a bad rap, or carbs, bread in general gets a bad rap. Here's what happens when we get older. We give them a bad rap because we're still eating like we did back when we were in our 20s. So that's an issue, especially if when you were back in your 20s like me. So I'll give you kind of a preface what I used to do when I was in my 20s. I lived in New York. I wouldn't just eat one bagel. Literally, I could eat two bagels without a problem, and maybe have a muffin, and maybe have a big tall glass of orange juice, right? Like sugar and carbs galore. But let me just share this with you. what I used to do in New York versus what I do now, as far as what my body and the energy output. Here, when I was in New York, I was teaching anywhere from 4 to 6 spinning classes a week. Sometimes I would teach double classes at night. I would also teach boxing. I'd also go and do my regular exercise, my regular workouts. I was way more active. I had more time. I didn't have the family. I didn't have the businesses. I was actually just working at a hospital at that time, and I had a full-time job. But in that essence, I was moving. I was a physical therapist. I was going up and down the floors, treating patients, blah, 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 all that stuff. Needless to say, I needed the energy to get through it. So eating 2 bagels for me, in fact, I wouldn't just eat 2 bagels. I would have 2 turkey bagels, like huge, like big, thick New York bagels. I get a turkey and cheese, and sometimes I throw some bacon on there and mayo. And so, it sounds really good, right? Am I making you hungry? That's what I used to do. That was easily a 1,500 calorie meal. Like, and that was sometimes in the evening, and then I would just crash and go to bed. Versus now, where I don't mind eating a bagel. I'm going to be active today. We have a little step challenge in our inner circle, and it's a 10,000 step challenge on top of the regular exercise. So I know I'm going to be moving more. I'm going to be more active, despite even having a home-based business where I'm doing a lot of work from the computer with my students online. But to say this, the tale of 2 bagels, and that could be the difference between where you're at now and why you're still struggling, is you may be still eating like you were back when you were in your 20s. Like, that's the thing. Hey, who's on here right now? Kathy, love New York bagels, missed them, everything of the best. Yes, the everything bagels, that they're absolutely the best. And when they come out fresh, ooh, there's nothing quite like that. Now, here's the cool thing. Like, when I was in New York, I didn't even have a car, so we did a lot of walking. I was moving. So I want you to think about right now, is it the bagel that the problem? Is it the problem with the bread and the bagel, or is the problem that you're just not as active? Are you just not moving as much? Now, here's what's really crazy. My wife and I were out biking last night. And here's some of the reasons why. Even when you have the time to move more, we're actually being sold into things that are not making us move more. Well, we're moving more, but they're things that are automatic. In other words, like, for instance, here at the beaches where I live, this is just going to give you some real life. We were out on a bike and we were just looking, and the last couple of years, I think I did a video a while back too about all these electric vehicles that are out, golf carts and electric scooters and electric bikes you see everywhere now. Here, at least where I live, there's almost more of those bikes now than regular bicycles where you actually have to pedal. And I'll tell you what, things are not going to get easier. What's happening is we're getting out and about, but we're standing on machines that are moving for us, and we're not moving. So what's interesting is when you say you're wearing, a heart rate monitor, or you're wearing a calorie tracker, when you get on those machines, you're not burning anything. Well, you might to balance a little bit, but you're basically standing and letting the power of the battery. Typically, most of these battery bikes and a lot of these golf carts, there's more golf carts here than ever before. And hey, I'm not to knock it if you needed to get from one place to the other, but if you're using that as a way to get out and about and enjoy life and stuff, get out and about and get on a bike or go for a walk, right? And then your energy is going to be up, and then guess what? You'll be able to enjoy your bagel and not have to worry about those carbohydrates that come with it, right? That's just a helpful tip. I hope this was helpful. Let's see, how else do you like your bagels? Cinnamon raisin bagel, hot butter, don't eat often. No, see, that's the thing. But here's the thing. We get probably a package of these a week. I'll probably eat maybe two or three of them a week, maybe, again, in that. But here's the thing. I want to have the fuel and the energy. I don't want to feel like I'm crashing. Oh, well, what happens when you end up crashing? Your body's telling you a couple things. Maybe it's crashing because you don't have the energy enough in your body to get through the day. And then guess what you go towards? Some of those things that are the instant fixes, the caffeine products, right? The sugary drinks. And then that ends up really giving you the worst crash after. And the reason partly is because you're not as active. And it's kind of a double-edged sword, right? You're like, well, I want to try to lose weight, so I got to be more active, right? I get it, but guess what? You're probably going to be more hungry, and it's okay to eat a bagel every once in a while. Again, you can't eat like you did back probably when you're in your 20s, simply for the fact that your body is not where it's at when it was in its 20s if you're in your 40s or 50s like me right now. Not 50s yet, 48. I'll be 49 in September. So I know that my body can't nearly... not that it doesn't digest, but it doesn't nearly need as many of the calories, or AKA the energy, the energy from food. That's what we get, our fuel, right? That comes into our body that we digest and we eat. and that's used for energy. Now, when you're in your 20s, like I said, I was rollerblading through New York City and biking. We were doing triathlons. I was a crazy man when it came to workout back in New York City. And then again, we didn't have cars, so we didn't drive anywhere. There was no electric vehicles. I was between walking and running and rollerblading. I was rollerblading in New York. I was one of those guys. I wouldn't hold on to the bus, but I would skate in and out of the streets of New York. Again, I was burning crazy calories. So I could eat probably 10 bagels at that time. And I wish, in hindsight, I actually paid more attention to my nutrition back then, because I probably would have been a much better athlete, even a much better triathlete. And I just kind of winged it. The problem is a lot of times you build those habits up in your 20s and you carry them into your 30s, and then you have a family, you start a family, and that makes you be even less active, right? You're busy, but you're not active, right? You're busy running around, driving around here and there. And then you get in your 40s and like, uh-oh, what happened here? Right here, that's the thing. So I want to share with you, hey, let's see what else. Half a bagel with butter, nutritional yeast, 2 eggs over, cinnamon raisin, awesome on that. Here's the way I love my bagel. Typically, if you want to send me some New York bagels, like from what's the name of the place? H&H Bagel, and then Bagel Brothers. No, not Bagel Brothers. There's another place that we go to. It's a deli over there. It's so good. I don't even know if any of that stuff's open. I don't have an interest to go to New York anytime soon, but I will say the bagels there are phenomenal. But here's how I like mine. I'll get mine, 2 eggs over easy on a bagel. I'll put a slice of cheddar cheese over that, and even a couple strips of bacon. Ooh, that is so good. Now, I'm making you hungry. Go have yourself a delicious breakfast, and I hope this helped. Again, just to kind of dispel the myth about carbs. There's a reason why food is getting you in the way of your best health and your fitness, and it usually goes hand in hand. If you want to eat a bagel, eat it, but then make sure you use that energy from the bagel by going out and being active, not getting on an electric scooter or getting on your golf cart and driving around and wondering why you don't have the energy to walk a half a mile or have the energy to bike a couple miles. And you're like, oh, well, it's just easier. Let me just get around on this electric bike so I can go, see the neighborhood more. Get out and pedal, all right? Come on. You're better than that. You're going to feel better. And here's the cool thing. When you physically move more, not mechanically move more, when you physically move more, you're going to feel physically better. Can I get an amen there? Take care. Have a blessed one. I hope it helped, and share this with a friend if it does. See you soon.